The University of Oklahoma is home to Heisman Park, constructed on the east side of the football stadium dedicated to the best players in college football. Each Heisman winner has a statue. Billy Vessels, Steve Owens, Billy Sims, Jason White, Sam Bradford, with two more on the way for Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. A notable statue missing is one of Adrian Peterson, arguably one of the most talented players in Sooners history. But why didn't Adrian Peterson win the Heisman? Let's start from the beginning. Born in Palestine, Texas, both Peterson's parents were star college athletes. His dad played college hoops, and his mom was a sprinter and long jumper. Peterson not only got some of his athletic ability from his parents, but also his nickname, All Day or AD, from his dad. Peterson was a three-sport standout in high school, but football was where he really shined, ending his junior season with over 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns, and then showing out his senior year with nearly 3,000 yards and 32 touchdowns. What stood out was how physically ready Peterson seemed to be for the next level, listed at 6'2", 210 pounds with 4.4 speed. At the time, there was debate on if there'd ever be a high school player who could make the jump directly to the pros, similar to a Kevin Garnett or a Kobe Bryant. Adrian Peterson was at the center of that conversation when it came to football. Peterson ended his high school career as the #1 running back and overall prospect in the Rivals 2004 class, and after narrowing his school choices down to USC and Oklahoma, decided to take his talents to Norman. AD would go on to have arguably the greatest freshman year of all time for a running back. He led the nation in carries with 339 and led the Big 12 with 1,925 yards rushing, which was good for third in the country. AD broke several NCAA freshman rushing records. He rushed for over 100 yards in his first 9 games and 11 games over the course of the season, which was a record. His only miss of the regular season was Nebraska, in a game where he rushed for 58 yards but was sidelined for the majority due to a shoulder injury. On 3 separate occasions, he rushed for over 200 yards in the game, and he had 2 3-touchdown games. His incredible season got him a spot at the Heisman ceremony alongside the best players in the nation. Let's take a deeper look at how the top 5 vote getters stacked up. Number 5 was USC sophomore Reggie Bush, a dual threat in the backfield running and receiving. Reggie put up some solid numbers, 1,417 yards from scrimmage and 13 touchdowns, but he really broke out in his junior year. Sophomore Reggie Bush was great, but junior Reggie Bush was a totally different animal. He did, however, receive the 4th most first place votes. 4th place in the Heisman race was Utah senior quarterback Alex Smith. He led the Utes to an undefeated season under Urban Meyer. At that time, Utah was in the Mountain West, and the only team that they played that was ranked at the time of playing them was number 19 Pitt in the bowl game. Smith did put up some great stats, 214 of 317 for almost 3,000 yards, 32 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but he was definitely facing lower level competition compared to the others at the ceremony. The guy handing Adrian Peterson the ball was also at the ceremony. That was Oklahoma senior quarterback Jason White, the winner of the 2003 Heisman Trophy. Jason White had an amazing year, despite Peterson getting a lot of carries. Finished 255 of 390 for 3,205 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. AD finished second in voting, 339 attempts, 1,925 yards, a 5.7 average yards per carry, and 15 touchdowns. As we know, the eventual winner was USC junior quarterback Matt Leinart, 269 of 412 for 3,322 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Now, we've covered the stats, but why was AD snubbed? The first thing that stands out is he had a former Heisman winner handing the ball off to him. Votes were split regarding who was more integral to OU's success that year. Now, you could say similar things about Leinart and Bush at USC. Matt Leinart was 6th in the Heisman voting in 2003, but at that point, Reggie Bush was still beginning to blossom into a true Heisman candidate at the time. 2005 is really where Bush stood out. He found his footing as the most dominant player in college football. I think there was a much bigger split in votes between Jason White and Adrian Peterson than Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. A big part of Adrian Peterson not winning the Heisman was that he missed a few key milestones that running backs need to hit to win the award. That's 2,000 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns. You take a look at the stats of Heisman winning running backs prior to Adrian Peterson. Ron Dane, 2,034 yards, 20 touchdowns. Ricky Williams, 2,124 yards, 27 touchdowns. Eddie George, 1,927 yards, 24 touchdowns. Rashaan Salaam, 2,055 yards, 24 touchdowns. I'll throw in Barry Sanders here too, just to show how eye-popping his stats were the year he won the Heisman in 1988. 2,628 yards and 37 touchdowns. If Peterson had hit that 2,000 yard and 20 touchdown milestone, I think the Heisman was practically his. And finally, what I think is the biggest reason Adrian Peterson didn't win the Heisman Trophy is simple. The voters weren't ready to award the Heisman Trophy to a freshman. Up until 2007, the Heisman Trophy was only won by upperclassmen, juniors and seniors. Tim Tebow broke this trend, becoming the first underclassman to win as a sophomore. In 2012, Johnny Manziel came around and he was technically the first freshman to win a Heisman, but he had redshirted, which meant he spent an entire year on campus already. No true freshman has ever won the award. Now, voters could argue at that point that Peterson would have at least 2 more chances to win the Heisman, but unfortunately for him and Sooner fans, his 2005 and 2006 seasons were both riddled with injuries, including a broken foot and a broken collarbone. Adrian Peterson should be used as a case study to show if a player deserves an award, you give it to them. You don't look at how many years they have left, because you never know what's going to happen in their football future. You combine all 3 of these reasons and you get a robbery. Well, I don't want to say robbery. Matt Leinart did have a great year, but I truly feel like if Adrian Peterson wasn't a freshman, he would have won that award. And I'm pretty sure Adrian Peterson agrees.
Do you believe that you should have won the Heisman that year?
For the when it comes to the Heisman Trophy, I definitely feel like I should have been the first freshman to ever win. You know, I feel like they robbed me.
I want to hear from y'all. Who do y'all think deserved the 2004 Heisman Trophy? Let me know in the comments section. I love discussing college football, and I'm really interested to hear what y'all think. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like it, hit that subscribe button for more college football content, and as always, have a great day. Y'all at the next one.